Deposed Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro remains in U.S. custody this evening after he was seized from Caracas by American forces early yesterday. He's due in court in New York tomorrow, along with his wife, Cilia Flores, where they both face drug trafficking and other charges. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has insisted the U.S. is not at war with Venezuela as the country's vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, assumes the role of acting leader.
It is a scene few would have thought possible even 48 hours ago. Nicolas Maduro on US soil in handcuffs. The deposed Venezuelan president and his wife now face drug trafficking and other charges in a New York court. These among his first public words after he was dramatically seized from his Caracas compound yesterday.
Good night. Happy New Year.
Bye, Lady Liberty.
Donald Trump has promised to put Venezuela, a major oil-producing nation, under US control for now. But when questioned on television this morning, his Secretary of State had this to say.
We didn't occupy a country. This was an arrest operation. This was a law enforcement operation. What we are running is the direction that this is going to move moving forward, and that is we have leverage.
But it is Nicolas Maduro's allies, not the US, who currently remain in charge in Venezuela. Vice President Delcy Rodriguez has assumed the role of interim leader.
La Fuerza Armada Nacional Bolivariana.
While the country's military has said it rejects what it called the cowardly kidnapping of the president, adding that a large part of his security team, soldiers and innocent civilians had been murdered in the raid. For exiled Venezuelans, the move has elicited both condemnation and jubilation. For some, it marks the end of what's been described as a dark and brutal chapter in their history under Nicolas Maduro. For others, it is an unprecedented assault on a nation's sovereignty, acting as a warning to countries around the world. Kate Varley, RTE News.
Well, nearly 8 million people have left Venezuela to live abroad, with many having fled the economic collapse and repression under Nicolas Maduro. It's estimated that there are at least 2,000 Venezuelans living here, and our reporter Karen Creed has been speaking to some of them.
Since the news broke early Saturday of the US strikes, the Venezuelan community here has been in constant contact with friends and family back home.
I was mainly concerned about how scared people were, because one thing is being Venezuelan abroad and a different thing is being there and looking across the window and seeing bombs in your roof. I think most people were in shock, and even though they were waiting for this, they never pictured it.
She said they are trying to assess the situation amid much uncertainty.
Of course, I'm worried, especially after listening to Trump's declarations yesterday. People were genuinely and are genuinely happy to see a change in this tyranny. But at the same time, when we don't have clarity of how that will look like in terms of who is going to be holding power.
Like Liliana, other people from Venezuela who are living here have been sharing similar sentiments, with both hope and concern about what a transition will look like in their native country and what changes could be brought about. Renis Quiada left Caracas for Dublin for a better quality of life and is now settled with a family here. His parents have delayed their return home to the Venezuelan capital because of the current chaos. Renis is hopeful that regardless of who ends up running the country, it will result in significant improvements for people there.
15 years, 25 years of this government, where no education, no food, and people starving over there. There is, let's say, 5% of the population who have wealth, but the rest, they don't have the chances. So we was waiting for someone to come in and support us.
His friend Luis Diaz describes the difference of living here where he feels safe and why his children have never visited his native country.
I want them to feel Venezuela that I felt, but not this one. And I wouldn't risk going back, and that's why I haven't gone back in over 10 years. It's just a different country.
While nostalgic for how Venezuela once was, he remains hopeful for its future.
It's the memory of going to the beach, it's the culture, it's the food. All that sadly it's lost and doesn't exist at the moment. You know, we don't need any more riots. We just need a new democratic state. And Venezuela will be, you know, what it used to be. And I think will be a great nation again.
Karen Creed, RT News.
Well, our global security reporter Yvonne Murray joins us now from New York. Yvonne, Nicolas Maduro and his wife expected in court there tomorrow to face charges.
That's right. In a Manhattan federal court here tomorrow morning, the Maduros will appear in the first step in what's likely to be a very lengthy legal process here. It's a 4-count indictment effectively accusing the Maduros of running a 25-year-long narco-terrorist operation. The Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, yesterday said that they would face American justice on American soil. There is a chance, of course, that they will submit a plea bargain at some point. Really, anything is possible. But if convicted on the charges, as they are now, they're looking at very long time in jail.
And Yvonne, the UN Security Council also due to meet tomorrow. What can we expect from that meeting as well?
Yeah, around the same time, Kate, here at the UN Security Council, the Council will be meeting in an emergency session. This is an emergency session called by the country of Colombia, backed by Russia and China, 2 key Venezuelan allies. And I think while we can expect, obviously, condemnation from them, what's going to be really interesting, I think, to watch is the reaction from the European members of the Council, particularly France and the UK, also permanent members with their own veto. I think what's happened this weekend has made it clear that the US is now pursuing its national security strategy that it outlined at the beginning of December. It has made clear that Greenland, European territory, is part of what it sees as its national security concerns. That is of concern to the European countries. It'll be very interesting to see how much they push back tomorrow in the Security Council. We should not expect any action, though, Kate, given that the US, being a permanent member of that council, will block any action against it. Kate.
Yvonne Murray in New York, thank you.